Hello children, welcome to our numerous lesson today. This lesson was produced by Rwanda Education Board with support from UNICEF. My name is John, your teacher. This lesson is for Primary 5 Mathematics, Unit 4. Dear adults, we still encourage you to support the children during this radio learning program. In this lesson, you will still need a notebook and a pen. As usual, children, you also need some counting objects. Now, children, let us review what we learned in the previous lesson. Dear children, what did we learn in the previous lesson? Very good. In the previous lesson, we learned a new type of numbers called fractions. We have learned that they are parts of a whole number. We also learned that every fraction has two parts, the numerator and the denominator. The numerator is the top part of the fraction. It shows how many parts of the whole that we have. The denominator is the bottom part of the fraction. It shows the total number of parts the whole is split into. Friends, let me hope in your homework you were able to practice making and writing several fractions. Dear friends, in today's lesson, we will learn more about fractions. We will learn what we call equivalent fractions. But first, let us have a short break. We will be back shortly.
Come along and play with us.
Welcome back, dear children. Like I said before the break, in today's lesson, we will learn about equivalent fractions. Repeat after me, equivalent fractions. Children, equivalent fractions are fractions that have the same value even though they might look different. Before we go further, children, let us have a warm-up. It's a chant we heard from our previous lesson. Like in the previous lesson, you will stand up and shake the way you feel like. Are you ready, children? Let's go. Fractions, fractions, parts of a whole. They are equal pieces like parts of a bread. Half a bread, half a biscuit. A half is a half, big or small. It takes two halves to have one whole. Fractions, fractions, parts of a whole. Did you enjoy it, children? Let's do it once more and let's sing it together as we shake our bodies. Are you ready, children? Let's go. Fractions, fractions, parts of a whole. They are equal pieces like parts of a bread. Fractions, fractions, parts of a whole. They are equal pieces like parts of a bread. Half a bread, half a biscuit. A half is a half, big or small. It takes two halves to make one whole. Fractions, fractions, parts of a whole. Well done, friends. I know you're now ready to learn. You may take your seats. Children, what did I say equivalent fractions are? Very good. Equivalent fractions are fractions that look different but have the same value. I repeat, equivalent fractions are fractions that look different but have the same value. Now friends, To see what equivalent fractions are, can you get two pieces of paper A and B? I repeat, can you get two pieces of paper A and B with the same size? Very good. Can you fold paper A into two equal parts? Shade one part of the two parts. What fraction have you shaded, friends? Very good. It is a half. Now, friends, can you fold the piece of paper B into 4 equal parts? Shade in 2 out of the 4 parts. Which fraction have you shaded in, friends? Perfect. It is 2 out of 4. Now, friends, let us compare the size of the shaded parts in A and B. What do you notice? Very good. They are equal. Therefore, a half and 2 over 4 are equivalent fractions. They look different but have the same value because they are equal. Comparing the two papers, the two shaded parts in paper A and paper B, they look the same. They are equal. They are of the same size. Now, friends, today we said we are calculating equivalent fractions. We will have some examples after this short break.
Come along and play with us.
Welcome back, children. We said today we are going to calculate equivalent fractions. And now we are going to have our first examples. But one thing to note, dear children. Dear children, can you note this? To calculate equivalent fractions, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with the same whole number. To calculate equivalent fractions, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with the same whole number. The whole number used are 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. That means we multiply the original fractions with fractions 2 over 2, 3 over 3, 4 over 4, 5 over 5, and so on. When we are to multiply both the numerator and the denominator with the similar whole number, that means our fractions will look like this: 2 over 2, 3 over 3, 4 over 4, 5 over 5. Let us have some examples, friends. Example 1. Find two equivalent fractions of the fraction 4 over 5. Very good. Like I said, to get the equivalent fraction, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with the same whole number. For our first equivalent fraction, let us multiply with 2 over 2. When we multiply with the fraction 2 over 2, that means we will multiply 4 over 5 times 2 over 2. This equals to, we multiply the numerators, 4 times 2, to get 8, over the denominator, 5 times 2, to get 10. Therefore, our new fraction is 8 over 10. I repeat, we multiplied 4 over 5 times 2 over 2. This gave us, we multiply the numerator by 2, that is 4 times 2 to get 8. We also multiply the denominator 5 with a 2 to get 5 times 2, which is 10. Therefore, our new fraction is 8 over 10. 8 over 10 is an equivalent fraction of 4 over 5. Remember, they told us to find 2. The second equivalent fraction we multiply by 3 over 3. Multiplying 4 over 5 by 3 over 3, we get, first we multiply the numerator. 4 times 3 is 12. The denominator is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Therefore, our new fraction is 12 over 15. Our second equivalent fraction is 12 over 15. And therefore, our answer is the two equivalent fractions of 4 over 5 are 8 over 10 and 12 over 15. Dear friends, have you gotten how we do it? If you haven't, let's have a second example. Let us have another example, friends. And in this example, let us find 3 equivalent fractions of the fraction 2 over 3. Dear friends, for our first equivalent fraction of 2 over 3, we will multiply by 2 over 2. In other words, we shall multiply the numerator with a 2 and the denominator with a 2. So what do we get? 2 times 2, we get 4. And 3 times 2, we get 6. Therefore, our new equivalent fraction is 4 over 6. 4 over 6 is our first equivalent fraction of 2 over 3. Friends, let us calculate a second equivalent fraction for 2 over 3. What do we do? Perfect. We multiply it with 3 over 3. Therefore, we multiply a whole number 3 by the numerator 2 to get 6. And now we also multiply the denominator 3 with the same whole number 3. What do we get? 9. And that gives us our new fraction as 6 over 9. Dear friends, let us find a third equivalent fraction of the fraction 2 over 3. What do we multiply it with this time round? Very good. We multiply the numerator with a 4 and the denominator with a 4. And that gives us 2 times 4, we get 8. 3 times 4, we get 12. And therefore, our new fraction is 8 over 12. The new numerator is 8. The new denominator is 12. 8 over 12 is our third equivalent fraction of 2 over 3. And that gives us all the 3 equivalent fractions of our fraction 2 over 3. These are 4 over 6, 6 over 9, and 8 over 12. Well done, children. Those are the 3 equivalent fractions of 2 over 3. Now, friends, let us have a break. We will be back shortly.
Come along and play with us.
Welcome back, children. Dear children, can you try this out on your own? Find 2 equivalent fractions of the fraction 3 over 5. You have few seconds to do so. Dear friends, I hope you have finished. Let us check our answer. To get our first equivalent fraction, we multiply with 2 over 2. That means we multiply the numerator with a 2 and the denominator with a 2. our fraction was 3 over 5. Multiplying the numerator, 3 times 2, we get 6. 5 times 2, we get 10. That gives us our new fraction as 6 over 10. Our first equivalent fraction of 3 over 5 is 6 over 10. To get our second equivalent fraction, we multiply with 3 over 3. Therefore, 3 over 5 times 3 over 3, that means 3 times 3, we get 9. That's the numerator. And the denominator is 5 times 3 to get 15. Our second equivalent fraction is 9 over 15. We multiplied both the numerator and the denominator with a 3. Our equivalent fractions of 2 over 3 are 6 over 10 and 9 over 15. Dear friends, let us have one more activity. Find two equivalent fractions of 5 over 7. Our fraction is 5 over 7. You have few seconds to do so, friends. Very good, friends. I hope you have finished. To check our answers, our first equivalent fractions, we multiply with a 2 to the numerator and the denominator. And therefore, we multiply it with the fraction 2 over 2. 5 over 7 times 2 over 2, that means 5 times 2, our numerator, to get 10. And then with our denominator, we multiply 7 times 2, we get 14. That gives us our first equivalent fraction as 10 over 14. To get our second equivalent fraction, we will multiply 5 over 7 times 3 over 3. That means we multiply our numerator 5 with a 3 to get 15. 5 times 3 is 15. Over, we multiply our denominators to get 7 times 3 to get 21. And that gives us our second fraction as 15 over 21. Therefore, the two equivalent fractions of our fraction 5 over 7 are 10 over 14 and 15 over 21. Dear friends, if you got them right, flowers. And if you didn't, I know you still have more time to practice. Before we end our lesson, let us review what we have learned today. What have you learned today, dear children? Perfect. We have learned about equivalent fractions. We have learned that equivalent fractions are fractions that look different but have the same value. To calculate equivalent fractions, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with the same whole number. For your homework, friends, find as many equivalent fractions as you can for fractions 1 over 4, that's a quarter, and 6 over 7. That is it for today. Thank you for participating. Remember to join us for our next numerous lesson. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, 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 teacher. Goodbye, children. See you next time. Goodbye, 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 teacher.